Okay, try this one more time. Uh, I'm gonna continue on with the same concept here of how this whole situation we've been going through is just like an abusive relationship with this term here. This is the third time I tried to do this. I think I'm gonna get it this time. Here we go. Parentification is when a child is forced to take on the role of an adult. Many children get the role of caretaker for their younger siblings or become the referee in their parents' arguments. And then parentification is the process of role reversal whereby a child is obliged to act as a parent to their own parent or sibling. In extreme cases, the child is used to fill the void of the alienating parent's emotional life. Something to that effect, but I'm gonna compare this also into this narcissism societally, as I'm seeing expressed in this whole situation that we've been forced to live through in the past year and beyond, because it's been a process. But anyway, it's like parentification is this role where it's like, okay, I guess, look, dude, um, if the dog runs away while the babysitter is watching the kids at the house, they catch the rap for the dog running away, even though the dog was in its pen. But normally, when the babysitter's over, the parents put the freaking chain on the dog in the pen. But instead, anyway, it's like parentification is when, let's say, a teenage child is delegated responsibility of two younger siblings. Let's say one's 9, one's 7, and so the parentified child, because the mother is busy trying to make money to help out, so she's working 2 jobs. So the kid has no choice. It's like, listen, in a way, it got human trafficked by its own situation to have to take on this burden of responsibility for younger children, and at the same time also given this responsibility to punish and reward on behalf of the real parent, who is more like the child at that point, on her dependence on the teenage child to be the parent for the younger children. You see what I'm saying? That's kind of parentification. So now, that's like when they say, because of pollution, it's your fault. Because all this went wrong. Or it's your fault. Uh, it's your fault this bill didn't get passed in Congress. Chris, it's your fault, buddy. And it's like, wait, I didn't vote. I wasn't even a part. What are you talking about? So that's this terminology right here. Okay, and back to the that topic there of this skateboy, or this parentified child. Now back to the 2 younger children in that scenario, not the teenage child. Now, in order to keep the situation in line, they make the youngest child the golden child, which can do no wrong. And this middle child is treated as the scapegoat, who is just the scum of the earth. If anything goes wrong, punish her, she can take it. In order to keep this golden child in line, parentified child, beat this golden child in front of her. Let her see. Look, but then again, you got to keep it in check. so no one detects our, our dysfunctional abuse in a way. Like, listen, this is how they're trained and groomed and like rewarded and punished, and that's how they're trained and groomed. I mean, look, in one of these real hypothetical situations right here. And so in a way, with the whole compliance to the weird conflicting and uh, uh, conflicting and vague implication, like implies or insinuations. It's like the people who are following this almost sort of kind of like societal self-policing social credit system through to the degree that they're complying with this unwritten but yet loudly spoken, these like suggestions that are highly suggested that we're to comply with when they're not real based on science, and we're called a science denier when they're the ones who are actually the science deniers. So we get scapegoated by these parentified golden children. Basically, it's either the parentified or they're golden children. In a way, parentified people are your kind of authority class who get to really yank on your chain and make it as painful as possible. Freaking that's a parentified child, but yet in adult role. Golden children are the ones who are just, they do what they're told and they they obey all the rules, and they're rewarded for their compliance. And that again, the parentified roles are rewarded for their ability to delegate the fear in the club and the punishment. The punishment is either, look, you better start listening to the Golden Boys, or we gonna bust you in the head with the club. And then the scapegoat role are the ones who are blamed for when everything, like when Grandma got ran over by a reindeer. It was their fault. It was the science deniers. When in this kind of like weird ministry of truth type society, it just like the ministry of truth really was in the story of Big Brother, where the government literally is kind of personified and parentified. Personified and parentified. It was it's interesting to see that kind of same kind of like hive mind, that hive mentality, because it was like this. In a way, by saying Big Brother's watching, because that society was trained to be a snitch. In a way, Big Brother was always watching, because most people were that just freaking like plugged into the matrix. That, but then again, at the same time, their devices were bugged. There were cameras everywhere, freaking. So, but at the same time, subtly in the background, this idea of this like ghostly guy in the sky, or look, this corporate tie, authority, suit and tie man somewhere in a high tower somewhere, he's got everything under control. So just keep working, and just look, we'll get you that bread. We'll keep we'll keep them that bread oven fired up in that bread line. Just don't you ask no questions. It's right what we tell you. You know, and it's Yeah, no, so that's kind of how we're getting worked right now with this whole freaking, like, look, the talking heads on TV are, and then it's like, in a way, all the responsibilities on them, but then they're throwing all the responsibility on us. Just like, the mother who relies on the teenager to be her delegator of the program when she's not around. But really, so in a way, look, she makes herself dependent to the child, when in all actuality, the child should be solely dependent on her. That's the same thing. They're like, look, hey, you're solely responsible to obey us through mandates to take this process here. But if anything goes wrong, we're not liable for it. But yet, in theory, if anything goes wrong at all for about you, you're liable for it all, which is the reversal of the roles, where in a way their big brother is acting like a big brat. It's like big brat is really, through this middleman, these volunteer vigilante types who just want to micromanage everybody and tell them how to live, and through these conflicting what is that word again, man? Is it not? Man, I can't remember what word it is, man. Anyway, through this vague kind of like insinuations, people are like commandeering like themselves to like tell people what they think they believe that they should do, and if they don't, it's like, and if they don't, they're just not gonna like it. So in a way, it's kind of like they're Willie lynching us in the big scale is also the same as this whole freaking scapegoat golden child uh, situation with the parentified child, and it's like, but even the parentified child can be turned into a golden child against the golden child, which would be the middle child, and then, or the youngest child, but then the middle child is always going to be the scapegoat. And you can see how they're already doing this with populations even now, and with in the media, and uh, they've been parentifying certain populations, they've been scapegoating other populations, and then they've been turning other populations into the golden children, which are they just follow and do what they're told by the parentified ones. But look, the parentified child actually ain't even the real power, and even the mother ain't the actual power. There's still the father in this whole equation here, which means you'd say Big Mother is the so-called government, but Big Father is this kind of like deep state, black budget that really is behind the fucking scenes, controlling everything for real. And it's just, we're all on a need to know basis, and they got us all. And this is the way that they help control us, is this term right here. There we go. Divided into segments or categories. He had the ability to compartmentalize his life. Anyway, yeah. So compartmentalization is subconscious psychological defense mechanism used to avoid cognitive dissonance or the mental discomfort or anxiety caused by a person having conflicting values, cognitions, emotions, beliefs, etc. within themselves. So anyway, by dividing people into the categories in itself is Willie Lynchism, and it's all over this whole virtue signaling, social credit score type of Orwellian-ish snitchy society.